Mayor Frank Cownie. Welcome to this edition of City Spotlight. We're here at the Crane Artist Lofts at 1440 Walnut Street. We're surrounded by artistic talent, and what a great venue for today's show. In this edition, we're going to talk about the underground artists movement happening right here in Des Moines, from photographers and makeup artists and musicians and stylists. Raw, natural-born artists Des Moines represents them all, and they're going to be right here to tell us about it. Also with us for our green segment, we're going to talk about Earth Hour 2013 and Polk County Conservation. Stick with us. This is a great show. Welcome back. Raw Natural Born Artists Des Moines is an artistic organization for artists by artists. And with me here today is Matt Wosmansky, and we'll call you Woz, right? Woz is the way to go. Woz, talk to us a little bit about how this works. What does Raw do?
Raw is a global community of independent artisans, and it really focuses on indie-based art, local artists, and hobby artists. People who have art, desire and art goals in an array of artist categories, but this is an opportunity for them to showcase their work and be seen. A lot of them have never been seen before. A lot of artists that we encounter have years worth of art that they've been working on and building, and it's never gone anywhere outside of their basement or art studio.
Sure.
So this is a really great way for them to connect with other artists and with the people that they want to show their art to.
So it's sort of an event that we're
It is an event.
Right,
It is an event. It's like an art gallery exhibit, only instead of it being very white wall and just kind of walking your way through it, it's interactive. You're going to be entertained, you're going to be inspired, you're going to see a lot of things that you wouldn't expect to see all under one roof come together.
How many artists are we talking about?
Usually we see between 20 artists. It depends. There's a couple different kinds of shows. As far as frequencies, you can do them every other month or every month. So we typically see anywhere from 20 to 40-ish artists at one event. So when you come to an event, you're going to see a great deal. You'll see musicians, you'll see visual artists doing paint, you'll see hairstylists who, hair. You wouldn't think of hairstylists as being artistic in a lot of senses, but they are. They do amazing things.
I've seen some pretty amazing stuff.
Right?
Yeah,
and it definitely is art, and Raw showcases that, whether it's independent film, fashion, music, performing arts. We have aerial silk artists that come on and are on our stage and do amazing things suspended from the ceiling. So we have a little bit of everything.
So is this an ongoing deal? So as I walk around through it, this whole thing is just going on and on. I mean, it's not like one act after another. It's like, it's just there.
Well, it's both. You'll walk in, you'll see artist exhibits and display stations set up throughout the entire event. So you can grab yourself a drink and walk around with your friends and look at all of these different displays up close. You can visit with the artists themselves and kind of find out what their inspiration was and get to know them. And then during this time, you'll see acts going on the main stage. And the main stage, you'll see, like I was saying earlier, performing artists. We've had internationally renowned belly dancers thrill us before. We've had some fantastic local music groups join us on stage, dancers, you name it. The fashion shows are fantastic. We have a full runway, so you see models. There's really just opportunity for so many people to be seen in the art world through the Raw showcases.
So we're even seeing people that are you say it's a runway show. Would that be for a hairstylist? Would that be people that are creating clothing, or all the above?
All of the above. In fact, a lot of our runway shows, we will combine and incorporate a fashion designer with an accessories designer with a hairstylist. And all three of those will create one finished model look to go down the runway. So it really just, if you are, say you're a fashion designer and you have some clothing pieces that you've made, but you don't necessarily have models and you don't have all the accessories and you don't know what to do with hair, you don't have to. That's the beauty of Raw. You can just bring your fashion in, and then Raw will work to pair you up with the right co-partner on the runway stage. So all of the artists have an opportunity to showcase their talents to their best potential, and we help them do that.
Let's talk about the Des Moines art scene, because we have, on our particular show, have spent a lot of time trying to get into it, and it has been fascinating to watch it evolve over the last decade almost now.
It has, hasn't it?
And how people have blossomed. They're comfortable getting out. They move into to buildings, like the Crane Artist Lofts that we're in as we speak, but also so many other places around Des Moines. Where do you find these people, and how do they get to you for this raw event?
Well, the internet has been a fantastic tool to connect people. And that's one of the things that's really unique about RAW, is that to get started in RAW and to find out how to come to us, you go to rawartists.org and you just simply build a profile. Just like if you were on LinkedIn, this is kind of like LinkedIn for an artist.
Okay.
And you have the opportunity to submit your work. You can put video on there. You can post information about who you are and as an artist or as a person. And then that goes on to the Raw Artists Des Moines site. And so all of the Raw artists are all located in this directory, I guess, if you will, of artists. And then that directory goes out to all of the other cities that are involved as well. So artists have a great way to be in connection or in contact with other artists. It's a really good tool. That internet tool has really helped bring a lot of the underground element of it more to the surface. So we're starting to see a lot more of these artists come out of their studios and come out of their attic workshops at home and see them in the community. And they're getting braver and they're putting their work out there to be seen. And it's great.
So a lot of these people that were creating in the closet, so to speak, are now kind of getting their courage up and have the opportunity to get out and show it a little bit, and your job maybe is to make them more comfortable at doing that.
And just to give them the opportunity to come into an environment where they can be seen and exposed in the art world. And it's okay that they're new. It's okay that you maybe have never done this before. We had a fashion designer last year who came in and had been making all of these great clothing pieces, and they had never been anywhere. Some of them not even on a body. So this fashion designer was really a nervous wreck starting out the showcase last year.
Yeah.
She'd never been anywhere, and it was really nice to work with her and help walk her through the process. And by the end of it, she said, that was something I never dreamed I could actually do. And as she was the last one out and following her models down the runway, she just absolutely was beaming. So it's rewarding as a host and as a part of the RAW staff to be able to help those artists kind of come out of the woodwork and gain that confidence and show their voice.
So Matt Wosmansky also has another life. You're on Star 102.5 with Big Ken and Colleen.
I am.
How did you decide to break out of that and get involved in this?
Well, I've always been an art lover. So being involved in my community, having that local feel has always been important to me. And I dabble in art myself in a lot of different ways, but it's not my day job, obviously. Radio is my day job. And this was a really great opportunity for me to visit with other people in my community and meet new people. So when they called and offered me the role, I just jumped in feet first and said, let's do it. It was just an excellent opportunity to meet people in my community.
Well, and get people out of just listening and actually get them to see stuff.
Yeah, face-to-face live events are always my favorite. Whenever I get to meet my listeners and get to meet fans out there in person, that's truly the best part of my job. So to be able to give them a really great reason to bring them out of their homes and see something new that they haven't seen before, very cool.
As we think about RAW for 2013, what do you see as the series of events that's going to happen? We've got one coming up here shortly. Tell us about that one, and then what else is kind of in the planning stages moving forward this year?
Well, the way that RAW works is it's set up as a full season. You'll just see a full season of events and showcases. So we'll have an event scheduled, I forget what the actual months are, but starting in March, And running throughout the season, or the year, we'll have showcases. They'll be held at Seven Flags Event Center this year. We were at Woolies last year and just loved it there. However, we had such great response that on our very first showcase, it was really crowded. People weren't able to have the spread out room that they wanted to have because there was such great response. So it was kind of a really great problem to have. And this year we've moved into a larger venue where we'll be able to have a much better setup so that the artists will have a much longer runway. We're going to have a full projection screen behind the stage so that the independent filmmakers can really be seen to the best of their ability. It's just an expanded setup. We'll have anywhere from 20 to 40 artists in there that you'll see, and they are all showcasing their work, but there's an opportunity for them to have their work seen on a larger scale as well. Because it is an international organization and it is web-based, they have an opportunity to make contacts with people right here in their hometown, and they have, if they want to go on further and they want to connect with someone out of the Des Moines market, they'll meet a lot of people.
So you think that this year you're going to do maybe 4 to 6, 8 shows, or?
I think that there are probably 6 to 7 is what's slated, and I'm terrible at dates. Thank goodness we have our director to help keep me on a schedule, because I wouldn't necessarily know when I was coming and going either. She does a great job at that. But yeah, it'll be a full season of it. So I always tell people, if you miss this showcase, don't worry, you'll catch the next one. And you can buy tickets at the door, you can buy them in advance. They're only $10, which is such an inexpensive way to get out and support local art and see something new. And you can do that online or at the door.
Because it is well attended, and it sounds like there's a big interest on the part of the artist side of it. Do you vet artists? I mean, if you've got 20, 30, 40 spots and you get 100 applicants, how do you sort out who gets in?
It is definitely done on a discretionary basis by the RAW director, and it's based on submissions. Not everybody makes it into the show the first time, but you're still part of the community. You're still online, your profile's still there. So we're constantly reaching into that bag of tricks, I guess, if you will, to pull new artists out. And we like to showcase new artists every month. So there's definitely, at some point, everybody gets looked at some point. This is not something that you submit your work to and you kind of just put it out there and it goes away. You'll definitely be part of the community.
So this whole thing is ever evolving. I mean,
correct.
What it is today is not what it was last year. And where do you see it going?
Absolutely true.
Over the next 5 years?
Over the next 5 years, I just see it becoming a larger scale of attendance. And I also see it drawing in more artists who are a little bit more established. A lot of artists who are somewhat established look at the events as maybe being, not the right environment for them to show their work in. But that's really just so far from accurate. It's just a great opportunity for all artists to be seen in. And I see that over time we're going to start drawing in more of those artists that are already maybe a little bit established in their career. Because RAW does focus on showcasing artists who are in their first 10 years of being in art. So if you've been around for 25 years and you're in galleries everywhere, or you're a recording artist or an author who's been published, we're not necessarily looking for you, because your voice is already being heard and you're already being seen in the community. We're looking for that new, raw, undiscovered talent.
Tell me, what advice would you give to an artist, who's thinking about it, who's still sort of, as we mentioned a minute ago, still in the closet? They're they love to do it. They don't know if they're any good, but really, once you see it, you say, wow, this should have been out a long time ago.
Right.
What advice would you give to those people that are just thinking about maybe jumping in and getting their first exposure?
Really, my greatest piece of advice is to just jump. Just jump in. You're probably going to be nervous and be scared, and that's okay.
But it's going to be fun.
Everybody
right?
is, but it's going to be fun, and just do it anyway. So that's really my advice. It's surprising. Art is subjective. Everyone has a different opinion of art. There's no right or wrong.
That's part of the fun of it.
That's part of the fun, absolutely. So my biggest advice to artists is just to let your voice be heard. Don't be afraid, wondering if you're good enough or not, because really everybody's good enough. It's art. It's not right or wrong. But just give it a shot, jump in, and I have yet to meet a raw artist who hasn't been glad that they participated and got their voice out there and took that first step.
Woz, thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome.
And keep up the great work. Let us know, and again, let everybody know, how is it we get in touch with you again? The
best place to go is to rawartists.org, and it's artist with an S at the end, the plural. So rawartists.org. You can find out information about buying tickets. You can support your favorite artists there. And you can just see a lot of what's coming up with our upcoming shows. We'll have previews for those artists there as well. And it's a good time. It's a good time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you.
This is City Spotlight. Let's take a quick look at the community calendar. Hopefully you're going to find something that you and your family enjoy over this next month. We'll be right back. Earth Hour is more than just a national event. There's lots of things we can do in and around Des Moines and right here in Polk County. With me is Lewis Majors, a naturalist with Polk County Conservation. Welcome to City Spotlight.
Thanks for having us, Mayor.
We've got, as was mentioned earlier, Earth Hour, March 29th, I believe it is, 8 to 9. We're trying to get people to conserve energy and shut down their lights and do all that sort of thing. But I think you said April 22nd, you're doing an Earth Day event. So talk to us about that and what it is that you're going to do during that event.
That'll be held at 1 o'clock, and it is actually going to be a tree planting where people can come out and learn how to plant trees and then plant some trees and get their hands actually in the dirt and put those trees in the ground and help ensure that we'll have some trees around for the future. But you know, I always like to tell people every day is really Earth Day. You know, it's good that we have events like Earth Day and the Earth Hour that's coming up that raises awareness on a big global, you know, scale. You know, but we have to practice conservation habits every day. You know, it's doing something small every day will make a huge difference over time. Simple things like turning lights out.
Does your funding come through the state, or does it come through
county taxes? Yeah.
County taxes. So it doesn't. It's not like a hand-me-down through the state.
We do get some state funding through a program called REAP, which is Resource Enhancement and Protection, but that's not like our main budget. Definitely, it's supplementary. But our main budget comes from county taxes. I always like to tell people I'm tax money at work right here. So thanks for paying your taxes. But yeah, it is a bit confusing. You know, we are looking for alternative budgeting. We ran a lot of grants and things like that too. Probably where we just got the bond passed that helps fund park improvements and water quality improvements and things like that.
Is that just in Polk County?
That is just in
So that was the $50 million
correct
bond?
Yep.
Okay.
Land Water Legacy Act or fund bond.
Are they doing similar things statewide on that?
There's the I will that passed a couple of, was it 2 years ago, that when they raise taxes, I think it's like 1% will be tagged to go back to water quality improvements and park improvements for conservation. But that won't actually take place until taxes are raised at a state level. But that was passed, so that is in place and kind of waiting to take effect when the taxes.
Is the uses for that similar to the bond referendum that you just passed? And by the way, it passed overwhelmingly. Right?
Yeah, 76%.
I mean, it's unbelievable. That's a huge, people, I think, recognize the need to get that kind of work done.
Yeah, it does. It echoes, bigger things than just the $50 million that's going to go back into the community, but it also echoes that people really want to see, better parks and improved parks and more green spaces.
Well, and cleaned up watersheds.
That's huge. Yeah, I mean, I grew up not in Iowa when I came here and saw the water was all brown, and people just kind of accepted it. When I got involved in the community teaching about conservation and environmental issues, it was just amazing how people in Iowa just didn't realize that water wasn't supposed to be brown. Water's supposed to be clear, and so I think it's finally starting to become more of a realization. We have terrible water. We have to clean our water up, and not only is it terrible water, we're losing our soil. That's why the water's brown. So it's kind of a 1-2 punch. We have dirty water and we're losing our topsoil, and that's our bread and butter in the state is growing crops. We can't.
Exactly. And it would seem like the work that you do, we ought to work more closely with Department of Agriculture, for instance, and say, hey, we got to pass some policies out in rural and agricultural areas in Iowa that preserves and conserves soil for future generations. Otherwise, what was Iowa State's study? They said over the last 40 years, 50% of our topsoil's been eroded.
Yep. We've lost over half of our topsoil. On average, we had about 16 to 18 inches, and on average today we have about 6 to 8.
Hopefully is going to offset some of that and not only educate, but begin to make that transition to better practices.
Yeah, it's all about education, and that's what I do specifically for Polk County Conservation and holistically. That's why we exist. And that's why all conservation boards exist, is to make sure that we have areas that are remained wild and still natural for people to come out and enjoy and keep in touch and connected with nature. Because if you lose that connection, then there's no appreciation. And then
how do you do that education? How do you engage the community?
Whole different varieties of programs, anywhere from outdoor skill programs, where we teach people how to do things outdoors, so like kayaking, canoeing, cross-country skiing, archery.
So outdoor recreation kind of stuff.
Yeah, outdoor skills. I mean, they're actually something that requires skill to do. Archery is not something that's easy. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, and kayaking, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So they're actually skills. So those are one type of program that we offer. We also do just education about flora and fauna, or plants and animals of Iowa. What kind of animals are here? What kind of animals used to be here? What type of habitats are here? How much habitat do we have left? What's the importance of that habitat? That's just education in general. Take people on hikes. We take people on field trips. We take people down rivers on kayak trips. We take people on wilderness trips. We have adult programs for seniors. Anything from preschool all the way up to seniors. We do education about the outdoors.
When you even do tree plantings and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah. How to prune trees, how to landscape your backyard to attract more wildlife. Planting with natives, huge thing right now. Not right now, but the invasive species that are taking over our parks and wild areas is a huge problem. Nationally, it's billions of dollars they spend to try to stop those invasive species from spreading. And it's not just plants, it's also animals, but a lot of people don't realize that plants are far more nastier. They spread quicker, they're harder to stop from spreading, And unfortunately, we still have legislation and laws that allow nurseries to sell those invasives to people. And so they take these plants and plant them in their yards, and wind-blown seeds and birds carry the seeds and drop them in other places, and then left unchecked, next thing you know, you have a park full of invasive species, and it takes just unbelievable amounts of time and money from our staff to just try and stop that.
The whole knowledge around how we use our resources on this planet has expanded so dramatically, and I find when we do town hall meetings and neighborhood meetings, people are asking those questions. What can we do? What's the city doing? How's the city working with the county? How are we all working together to make it better? I'm worried about what the future looks like for our kids. So that awareness is important, and the work that you're doing to educate our public, I want to thank you personally for what you do and what Polk County is doing, and look forward to partnering with you in the future to accomplish more stuff. Louis, talk to us quickly so our viewers can know, how do they get more information about Polk County Conservation?
The easiest is probably to go online to our website, which is leadingyououtdoors.org. And on that website, you're going to find just amazing amounts of resource information. You're also going to find our main publication called Nature's News. And that is a listing of all the events that we have going on and coming up. It's kind of our calendar. And that is mailed for free 3 times a year if you want to get on our mailing list. It also is available digitally. And we break that down into 3-month sections. So you kind of can see what we have coming up for programs and events to get involved in conservation events locally here in Polk County.
Louis, it sounds like you've got lots of great events and opportunities going on in and around Polk County. Talk to us quickly about how people can volunteer or get involved in those things.
Yeah, they can come to our programs just, to enjoy them and learn more about conservation and get, some education about the outdoors or to learn a skill. But we also offer a ton of volunteer opportunities, anywhere from helping plant trees to picking up and cleaning up parks to coming out and hands-on physically removing invasive species and taking care of our parks. Volunteer opportunities are available, and again, you can get more information about how to volunteer and get involved on our website. But we have over 1,000 volunteers right now, and always needing more. The 12,000 acres we take care of, those volunteers are hugely important and valuable to us. They dedicate 14,000 hours of volunteer time to us, and that is a value of about $250,000 to our organization. Volunteering is a great way to not only get involved, but also give back and help.
Well, not only that, but get educated and take it home to not only your own house, your own property, but your neighborhood. Let's get everybody involved in doing the right thing.
You bet. That transfers over into your surrounding and your families and into your neighborhoods, and how to help improve your backyards and look for those invasive species that might be growing in your backyard, and just how to become a better conservationist every day at home.
With us today, we've had Louis Majors, a naturalist with Polk County Conservation. Louis, thank you so much for being with us on City Spotlight, and let's get together again. I want to hopefully get all of our citizens involved moving forward, and make Des Moines and make Iowa a better place to live and grow, and our kids and our grandkids to have a great place to live.
Thanks for having me.
You betcha. This has been City Spotlight. Hopefully you've enjoyed our show. You'll be able to see reruns of it at the times and dates that are on your screen. And until next time, I'm Mayor Frank Cownie, and this is City Spotlight.